If you don't use your anger and your pain and your trauma to motivate you and fuel you, it's only going to frustrate you, make you angry, and make you bitter. Welcome or welcome back. It's your favorite mental health specialist, High Guidance, and that is what we're going to be talking about in today's video. Now, with that being said, because there's no right or wrong way to heal yourself, always and only take what resonates as well as leave the rest. So if it doesn't apply, then it's not in a line and it's not for you, so don't force it. As well as grab your pens, grab your paper, and be prepared to take notes. In this video, we're going to go over and discuss how you could use your anger to motivate you and to fool you so you can elevate and become the best version of yourself, as well as some recommendations, some reminders, and some disclaimers, as well as certain things that you need to be aware of. But if you guys hear like this creaking and squeaking noise, it's literally this old stool that I'm sitting on. But starting off in the introduction of the video in today's topic and the first disclaimer, until you realize that all the anger and all the pain and all the frustration was valid, you will constantly beat yourself up. A lot of people struggle from BPD, PTSD, CPTSD, ADHD, neurodivergence, all these labels and attachments because of trauma. There is nothing wrong with you unless you have a physical disability. Your anxiety, your depression can be cured, can be healed, but the only way you can deal with your depression and your anxiety and you're able to not focus is if you realize where it started and stemmed from. You have to realize, that we did not suffer for no reason, and there's a reason why you had to go through adversity and trials and tribulations. So number two, you have to understand why you went through the things that you did. Until you realize why you were angry, until you realize why you were frustrated, until you understand what it is that you were supposed to learn, grow, avoid, or remove yourself from, psychologically, emotionally, and mentally, you will start to be in a loop. And with this loop comes self-sabotaging, comes you not wanting to physically get out of bed, comes you having negative thoughts about yourself and other people, and angry and bitterness, envy, and just anything that's considered to be low vibrational. So the third disclaimer when learning and realizing how to use your pain to motivate you is that it is okay to be angry. It is okay to be frustrated. It is okay to maybe not know how to articulate your emotions, or may not always have the people and places and things to be there for you, but knowing that it is not normal for you to have anger issues, or for you to be depressed, or for you to be anxious, or for you to be envious. Like a lot of people think, oh, it's just normal. No, it's common. And in order for it to not be common anymore is until when you see a psychiatrist, you go to the gods, the ancestors, or the universe, take what resonates, leave the rest, because we're not here to force religion or spirituality. You book yourself in a session with me, your favorite mental health specialist, you see a naturopathic physician, or you seek assistance. Like, yes, we have emotions, yes, we have feelings, but we don't have to stay there. A lot of times people stay in the negative energy because they're not being taught and shown how to articulate themselves. Maybe you can't afford therapy. This is why I make free videos on YouTube for you guys. Like, you have to be willing, and that's the fourth thing, you have to be willing to deal with your emotions. You cannot continue to throw tantrums and expect for you to grow, or for expecting you to become better. Like, you cannot continue to self-sabotage yourself and not try to apply yourself. All you have to do is start with the 24 hours that you currently have when you're watching this and moving forward. And lastly, number 5, when you are learning how to deal with anger and frustration and suppressing your emotions, you have to be vulnerable. Like, you cannot be afraid to be acknowledge or to be honest or hold yourself accountable of why you're angry. Most people who are angry have every right to be angry. Like, most people are angry because they were touched on inappropriately. Most people are frustrated because they're only getting paycheck to paycheck. They're getting minimum wage. Most people are upset because people made fun of them. Maybe they were beaten on. Maybe they didn't grow up with food. Like, most people are bitter because they don't have the support. They don't have the community. They have people trying to make them like that. And I'm gonna tell you guys from experience, misery loves company. I've met a lot of miserable people in my life, and I met a lot of loving people in my life, and a lot of people think that darkness is the number one factor. It's not. Love and light is the highest form of vibration. The only reason why people focus on the darkness is because so many people have normalized darkness. So many people have normalized envy. So many people normalize having attitudes. People normalize being anxious. You all have normalized it. And over here, like I said, we motivate, inform, and educate. We're not here to normalize that. And I'm speaking from experience. What has helped me along along my healing journey was to realize why I was angry, why was I upset, why I felt the way I did, and to do the work. And that's going to be part of the recommendations. Like, yes, when you grow up in a Section 8 or a low income household, that can make you feel frustrated. It can make you compare yourself. A lot of times too, what you're angry and mad about, this doesn't mean that it's not possible for you to achieve the things that you want, that you see in other people, but you have to realize that you hating on people, you being envious of people, you trying to sabotage people, you trying to hurt and harm people is only going to hurt you. And a lot of people, who do not deal with their anger or do not deal with their emotions, who do not go to God, the ancestors, universe, psychiatrists, a therapist, try to do the work, educate themselves, look up mental health or whatever it is, continue to hurt people who hurt people. And a lot of times, a lot of people feel guilty. A lot of times people feel like ashamed. You don't have to be ashamed. Nobody could ever make you feel ashamed or embarrassed about your frustration, because a lot of times, a lot of people who have hurt and harm you want you to feel that way. And I'm speaking from experience. I've witnessed a lot of, like I said, miserable, low vibrational, ugly people. And I'm not talking about how they look. I'm talking about their spirit, their energy, and how they were as a person. These people in places and things did so many things, and they thought it was going to affect me. It never did. You know why? Because number one, I'm not them. And number two, just because people do things to you doesn't mean it's true. So the first recommendation is knowing why you feel the way you do. You have to validate your anger and your frustrations. There were times where I was angry and I was frustrated. There was a time, maybe 9 years ago, you guys, I was 20 years old. I was working at a finance representative job. That was my first ever corporate and only, well, not only, but my first corporate job. And at that time, you guys, I got fired and I was sad. At 20 years old, when I got fired, I was sad. It was traumatic. The reason why I was traumatic was because I grew up privileged. I grew up financially stable. I grew up with a silver spoon. So for me to have go from having this abundance and financially stable to not having money, it made me sad. I didn't feel embarrassed that I was fired. I was never ashamed that I was broke. You know why? Because there are a lot of people in this world who are broke. There are a lot of people who did not grow up privileged. There are a lot of people who don't have silver spoons. I've never thought it was funny or acceptable to make fun of people, because at the end of the day, all it is materials. And it wasn't until 9 years later, in me growing and evolving and me getting my finances where they needed to be, that I realized that just because I was sad in that moment doesn't mean that I have to be sad and broke for the rest of my life. Like, if I know personally that was never gonna be for me, because like I said, I wasn't raised like that. I didn't grow up like that. And you have to realize that, yes, in the moment you're allowed to be sad. Yes, you're allowed to feel how you feel, but holding on to anger and frustration and pain is not going to help you. Did I have grown adults get me fired at my job? Yes. Have I had people sabotage me in workplaces, in schools, and in relationships, and even amongst my family? Yes. But once again, that energy that those miserable people had nothing to do with me. And that's number two. You have to talk about how certain things make you feel. If you're embarrassed to talk about why you were angry or why you're sad or why you were upset, you're the only person who's going to struggle. And the people and the places and things who did go out their way to try to install this fear, because that's what it is, this doubt and this destruction onto you, are going to continue to live their life. And that's what a lot of people want. And that's going to be in the next video. A lot of people want you to be miserable. A lot of people don't know themselves. Some people do it subconsciously. Some people do it consciously. Some people do it with intention. Like, there are going to be people in this world, like I said, who do have these ulterior motives because they didn't take their time to heal. Now, of course, everybody in the world's not going to heal, so you can't expect this from everybody, but you need to be expecting it for yourself. So the third recommendation when you're learning how to use your pain and your frustration to motivate you and elevate you is just to allow yourself to be in the moment, to allow yourself to acknowledge that it happened to you. Like, you have to learn how to be present. In order for you to move forward and come up with solutions, which we'll talk about in the next steps, you have to realize that that situation did happen to you. Like, I got fired, whoop-de-doo, in my young thug voice, whoop-de-doo. Like, okay, Anne, who cares? Who cares? There are so many people in this world who are struggling and living paycheck to paycheck. And like I said, I've never been somebody who looked down on people like that, because Nicki Minaj said it best. Broke people should never laugh. Like, that's disgusting. Making fun of people because they don't have money, making fun of people because they don't have certain clothes, when all this stuff is materialistic and it doesn't hold any value unless you give it the power. That's not cool. That's not cool. It's not cool at all. It's okay. We go through things. Like, everybody goes through things. And like I said, the people who try to act like their sugar honey iced tea don't stink, it does. Like, the people who got me fired, because I could do a lot of story times and tea times, but the people who got me fired were miserable. They hated their jobs. They hated having to go to that job. Me personally, I was 19, 20 years old. I didn't give a F, because I know, like, okay, I'm 19, I'm 20 years old. This is not where I want to be for the rest of my life. And just like that, I was fired. I wasn't going to be there for the rest of my life, because one, I had got fired, and two, certain things are also not for you. You have to realize that a lot of times when we're going through these pains and these frustrations, it's because God, ancestors, universe, or yourself, your higher self, is trying to let you know certain things are not for you. Like, there's better for you. Had I would not have gotten fired, I would not have been able to go after the path of being an entrepreneur and doing the things that I want for myself. Now at 29, I get to wake up whenever I want. I get to sleep whenever I want. I get to post content whenever I want. I get to run my business whenever I want, how I want. And it's been that way for the past 9 years. Like, I don't have to clock in for everybody. Now, of course, everyone's not gonna be an entrepreneur. I'm not telling you to quit your job. I'm not telling you to start a business. I'm not saying that. But you going through the things that you went through, a lot of times it's for a reason. Like, you have to ask yourself, and that's the fourth or fifth thing, when you're going through pain, what is it that you want to experience in life? The main reason, and this is the T, the main reason why we suffer and go through pain is because we're not in alignment. You are not going to struggle and suffer as long as you are operating out of love, you have genuine intentions, and you're doing what you're supposed to do. And I'm going to say it again. If you're not operating out of love, if you're not moving with genuine intention, and you're not doing what you know you're supposed to do, that's the only time you're going to struggle and suffer. When you start to make better choices, when you start to realize certain people and places and things are not for you, when you start to realize certain jobs, certain environments are not for you, and you remove yourself, you're not going to deal with that. Because as you continue to go through life, things are going to happen, but you're going to be educated. You're going to be equipped. You're going to know how to react and respond. You're going to know who's for you, who's not. You're going to know what environments that you thrive in versus the environments that take away from you. I'm telling you guys, all the suffering, quote unquote, all the karma and trials and tribulations that I face from witnessing other people and places and things, and the times where it was me, because it wasn't a lot of times where I put myself in situations, was because I wasn't doing what I needed to do and needed to be. But in order for you to even have that revelation and have that level of discernment and wisdom, you have to identify why it made you feel the way it did. You have to talk about it. Then, like I said, you can come up with solutions. So until you guys come up with, until you guys let me know what it is that you've been angry and frustrated about in the comment section, you're not gonna be able to come up with a solution. So if you want a solution, you don't want to be angry, you don't want to be mad, you want to be bitter, you want to be envious no more, let me know in the comment section, as well as your notes. But answer the following questions. If you're new here, that's your homework assignments. In these videos, I give you guys homework assignments. I ask you guys questions. The questions need to be answered. If not, send and share this video to somebody who watch it. Don't just watch these videos just to see me. Okay, if you want to see me live my life, follow me on all my other social media platforms as your favorite rich auntie, aka living her soft girl life, on all social media platforms. But it's like, it's no reason to continue to hold on to this bitterness and this angriness, because it's only going to burden you, and it's going to block you, and it's going to limit you. And you have to realize, you guys, this stool is so annoying. You have to realize that's what people want. All the people and the places and things who try to cause confusion and corruption or take certain things from me, I never wanted to be like you. I don't respect you, and I'm not going to be angry. I don't have it in me. Like, you have to care in order to hold a grudge, you guys. I don't care. I've never cared about anybody that much to hold a grudge. Call me what you want, but you can't call me broke. Money, pull up in the chopper with a telescope. Shout out to the Migos. Why be angry? Okay? If you get fired, yes, this doesn't mean, like I said, that now financially you may have to go without certain things. But if you are not somebody who is really, because that's what it is too, a lot of y'all be mad because a lot of you all are not strong. You can't allow the pain and the frustration to get to you. My account is for the hustlers, for the bosses, for the go-getters, for the heavy hitters. And you could be a man, you could be a woman, you could be a woman, you could be a man, you could be a he, you could be a thee, a they, a she, a we, LGQ213. Like, you could be black, you could be white, you could be Hispanic. I don't care what you are. If you're not strong, this is not going to resonate. You're not going to be able to move forward, and everybody in the world is not going to be strong. That's why you need to be strong. And that's another reason why you can't hold on to your anger and your frustration, because people are going through things. A lot of people are not going to want to help you. If you do have people, like I said, who can listen to you vent and can be there for you and come up with solutions, you need to appreciate them, because me and them, we're not going to be in your lives forever. It's only so much that people can do. Like, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. At the end of the day, it's no reason for you to be angry, especially if you know that's not who you are. If you know you're not an angry person, if you know you're not somebody who naturally holds grudges, why would you allow that to affect you? When people talk about you, do you want to be friends with them? When people make up rumors and lie and come up against you, do you want to be associated with them? Like me personally, I used to be embarrassed of certain people. All to y'all shade. I used to be so embarrassed as a little girl of certain, and even as a young adult. But I had to get older, and I've humbled myself, and I realized it's just certain people, places, and things. I am too good to be around certain people, places, and things. I'm not better than them, but like I said, in my intentions, the way I carry myself, and I'm moving out of love, I don't need to be around that. I don't need to be psychologically controlled or manipulated. First of all, you can't control me mentally or psychologically. It doesn't matter. Like, people think them trying to take your finances or take, baby, that's only going to break you. And you have to realize that when people try to hurt and harm you, the stuff that they try to hurt and harm you with, like when people leave negative comments, that's how they feel about themselves. Like, I'm going to need y'all to wake up. Don't make me jump through this phone and snatch you up, because some of y'all need to get snatched. Some of y'all really need to realize that you bumping your head is for a reason. How many times you have to suffer? How many times you gonna have to struggle? When are you gonna get up? When are you gonna stand up? Because let's be for real, you're angry because you're not willing to stand up. So when you watch this video, you're gonna stand up or you're gonna sit down. I'm not dealing, no, especially as a grown adult. If I didn't deal with it 9 years ago and 19 years ago, why would I deal with it now? It's okay to be mad. It's okay to be sad. But it's like, what are we going to do about it? You're going to be bitter for the rest of your life. And not just that, I don't know about y'all, but me, like I said, anger, when people try to anger me, when people try to disturb me, baby, I eat it up for breakfast. I am an Afro-Indigenous woman, so some of y'all need to do your research, but sending me the evil eye or trying to do things to me, I'm gonna let y'all know right now, some of y'all need to watch The Princess and the Frog, some of y'all need to watch Coraline, and some of y'all need to watch The Little Mermaid. What you put out, it comes back, and everything comes with a price. So it's just like, if you're not willing to pay the price, don't be doing stuff you don't want sent back to you. Because you can't hit everybody. Like, everyone doesn't feel the same way. So it's just like, it's no reason to hold on to stuff that doesn't belong to you. Once you realize that certain people, places, and things want to hurt you, want to sabotage you, want to get you in trouble, remove yourself. Once you realize that certain things make you feel some type of way, because it's okay to care. If you know you're not nonchalant, if you know things get underneath your skin, say that. Say, this bothered me. This made me feel upset. There's nothing wrong with that. The only people who try to gaslight you and manipulate you or make fun of you for being sad or being angry, once again, who are they? Really pay attention and ask yourself, do I really need to be mad about this? If you know like I said, if you know you're a good person and people cheated on you, why should you lose sleep? Yes, you maybe love these people. Yes, maybe you cared about these people. There are men and women in this world who are going to love you. Why would you stay? Why would you stay? If you get fired, okay, you're not meant to work there. Maybe you're meant to, like I said, start your own business. Maybe you're meant to do something better. You don't have to stay there. Certain people want to talk about you in your school. Once again, other than you going to school and getting your degrees and your certificates, once you leave, you don't have to see those people ever again. You don't have to talk to those people ever again. If it's your coworkers, you don't have to see them outside of work. And when you are in these situations where you are getting angry and you are getting easily frustrated, you need to pay attention, because there's a reason why. There is a reason why. Certain people, you give to people and all they do is take from you. Stop giving to them. Don't become like the people who try to make you feel bad, because that's what people want. People want you to be miserable. Miserable people want other people to be miserable. Sad people want other people to be sad. Envious people want other people to be envious. The more and more you separate yourself from these people, places, and things, and you realize, okay, well, why was I frustrated? What was I sad? And what I could do about it, you won't continue to be angry. You won't consider to be bitter. You'll be able to let it go. But I'm telling you, if you don't let it go, it's only going to limit you. It's only going to block you, and you're going to be like that for a long time. You have a lot of grown adults, unfortunately, who end up living like that for their entire lives, and they don't change, and they die that way. Is that how you want to leave this earth? Is that how you want to live your life? Is this how you want to show up for 2026? You want to be angry? You want to allow people that, once again, you don't even respect? Because I'm gonna be honest with y'all, all the people, like I said, who did the certain things, I know a lot of people don't have respect. I know a lot of people will lack integrity, but it's like, once I lose respect for you, like, I'm not mad, I'm not angry, I'm not holding a grudge, but I just will never associate myself with certain people, places, and things. Like, they will, like, never. And you know how people say never say never? No, you could say never when you know. I know the power of the tongue is real. If I know I was a good girlfriend, if I know I was a good sister, if I know I was a good daughter, if I know I was a good worker, if I know I was a good friend, if I know I was a good classmate, if I knew I was, you know, not out here trying to, why would I lose sleep? The money, the cars, and the clothes, all the stuff that you give to those people, you can get that back. You can't get back your energy. You can't get back the time that you spent. And that's another reason why you have to let it go. You have to use it to motivate you. There are people in this world who want to love you and appreciate you. When certain guys tried to come into my life and do the things they did, I removed them. One thing about me, you guys, okay, I'm gonna keep it cute, but there are men in this world, like, there are men in this world who are willing to love me correctly and appropriately. Same thing with friends. If girls want to be messy and catty, I'm in a relationship with women now who are about their business, who like to look good, smell good, make money, and live their best life. We don't have time for that. It never gave that. Same thing with jobs. I'm only working with people and collaborating people who are about their business and who are professional and have, like I said, integrity. Same thing with people in your family members. I only have relationship with people who have the same respect. Like, it's no reason to hold grudges because it's unhealthy. Like, just because you forgive people and you forgive yourself doesn't mean that you rekindle a relationship. So, like, just because you talk about yourself being angry, just because you talk about you feeling how you feel, it doesn't mean that you're bitter. Like, me making these videos doesn't make me bitter, doesn't make me sad, doesn't mean like, oh, I'm allowing people to have control over me. And like I said, only narcissistic people will sit here and try to gaslight you for making you feel bad about expressing yourself. Like, if you don't talk about how you were mad and angry, it's going to fester. You're going to suppress how you feel, and you're going to take it out on the wrong people. Don't take out your anger and frustration onto people who did nothing to you, because they're not going to want to deal with you. And I'm learning from experience. Like, I've had to learn how to work on my attitude. I've had to learn to work on how me saying certain things and me doing certain things affected the people around me as well as myself. So if you want to become better, like I said, let me know what makes you angry, sad, and frustrated in the comment section down below so we can come up with the solutions. If not, make sure you guys are following me on all my social media platforms, okay? And if you guys are ready to book your service and your session, drop the word website as well as what you think, what you need to be working on, how this video is resonating with you and affecting you. And yeah, follow me on Instagram and on TikTok because that's where I'll be going live so you guys can get to know me and I can get to know you. But yeah, I love you, you're loved. Until next time, peace.